I'd like to call this November 12th, 2020 meeting of the Bristol Borough Board of Education. And right now, can we stand to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I would like to announce that the board met in executive session for about an hour and 10 minutes to discuss some legal and matters related to the COVID-19 and our plan. And I apologize to all you people who have patiently waited. And number two is I'm going to read this kind of disclaimer. This meeting will be conducted live, but in virtual format via Zoom technology. As with the previous board meetings, this process is permissible under and consistent with applicable Pennsylvania School Code, Sunshine Act, and the Bristol Borough School District policy provisions. Public access for participation in the meeting can be accomplished per instructions attached. And I'm just wondering for item number 2, Mrs. Moyer, are you there? Can you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, I can. I'm here.
How you doing, Jen?
Good.
Good to
Hi,
hear you.
everyone.
Good.
Mr. Cullen,
Here.
Mr. DeMarcus,
Here.
Ms. Paglia, Mr. Poliaco,
Here.
Mr. Parolo,
Here.
Mr. Poplawski,
Here.
Mr. Rusin.
DeRuzen,
Sorry.
Present. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Mr. Chicoletti
Here.
and Mr. D'Angelo.
I am here, and that makes all 9 members are present. Okay, can we get a motion by voice acclamation to approve the agenda with said addendums or table items?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion.
Who's that, Mr. Popolowski?
No, me, John.
Oh,
I
okay,
make a
Mr. Cipollati, thank you. And can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Poliafico. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Dr. Maniti, would you like to do your reports?
Yes, thank you, John. I have a few items. First, I would like to congratulate the Bristol Borough Teachers and Student of the Year through the AOC. Our Teacher of the Year was Lynn Ciotti from Warren Schneider Elementary School. She's a 4th grade teacher. Rosie Parmigiani posthumously was recognized as Outstanding Educator in the Bristol Borough School District as well. From St. Mark's School, Jeannie McGee was their Teacher of the Year. She's also a 4th grade teacher. And our Student of the Year is Ma Bernadette Everdone. It stands for Maria Bernadette Everdone. And she is a Student of the Year, and she is a senior this year at Bristol Borough School District. So congratulations to the teachers and the Students of the Year. And thank you to the AOC for honoring those students. The board discussed during the executive session the current numbers moving from moderate to substantial in Bucks County. And in an abundance of caution, we have decided that we will close for in-person instruction the week of December 23rd. I'm sorry, I'm already skipping. I'm skipping until Christmas already. November 23rd, which is the week of Thanksgiving, and then the week after Thanksgiving. So we will be doing virtual instruction in the district from November 23rd and returning on December 7th. We will hold a board meeting on Thursday, December 4th, to look at where the numbers are at that point and make a further decision. But right now, our tentative plans are to come back on December 7th. And again, this is the board, I'm speaking for the board in an abundance of caution due to the numbers moving to substantial and the holiday season where families will be doing a lot of gathering. We want to ensure the safety of our students and our staff. So that is a decision that has been made. We are making also the decision to move our practices and our fall sports seasons not to start until December 14th. Again, in abundance of caution, making sure that we ensure the safety of our students. During our board meeting in the beginning of December, that is a tentative start date. We will do an evaluation at that point, and the board will make a further decision whether to come back on December 14th or if we are going to hold out a little bit longer. So that is the information that I have to share with the community. Thank you.
Okay. That's it for you, Rose?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so now let's go to item number.
John, just to make sure it was
4.
clarity, so it's winter sports, not fall sports.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say fall sports?
Just so nobody gets confused.
And it's also December 3rd, so it's December 4th. 3rd is the Thursday.
That's when our meeting will be.
Right, right.
And we're closing down through November 16th through December, right now, December 4th, correct?
Yep, and voting on the 3rd.
Okay,
Closing to the 4th, which would bring us back on the 7th.
Right.
okay.
And I'll put it all in a letter to the community tomorrow, so we have the clarity of all the timeframes. My apologies, my scribbled notes.
That's fine. Okay, so we're moving on to public participation. I see that we have maybe about 20 people here. So I would ask that somebody, if you want to have a question or concern or would like to speak to an issue, please state your name and we'll try to address your issue here. Anyone from the public? Let me just scroll through. Okay, being that we do have a short agenda, and I'm not getting any response now, we will revisit public participation at the end of the meeting in case someone remembers something or has an issue, okay? So with that being said, let's move on to item number 5, routine monthly business. Mr. Chicoletti?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, approve the minutes of October the 22nd, 2020 meeting, approve the list of bills for November 2020, approve the treasurer's report, October 2020.
Motion is made by Mr. Chicoletti. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cullen. Does anyone have any questions or concerns regarding the routine monthly business items A, B, or C? I'll take that as a no. Jen, you'd like to do roll call votes here?
Yes. Mr. Cullen,
Yes.
Mr. DeMarcus,
Yes.
Miss Paglione. Is she here? Mr. Poliafico,
Yes.
Mr. Parola,
Yes.
Mr. Poplawski,
Yes.
Mr. Rusin. John?
I'm sorry, yes again.
Okay. Mr. Chicoletti
Yes.
and Mr. D'Angelo.
Yes.
Okay, motion is passed.
Thank you, Jen. Item number 6, under new business.
Mr. Chairman, approve the attached changes to the Bucks County Technical School Articles of Agreement.
Motion made by Mr. Chicoletti. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second by Steve Cullen. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Mr. McHugh, maybe you just want to give a brief synopsis of what's going on here?
Yeah, the only change to the articles of agreement is, in the old agreement, we had a 3.77% of out of 100 of our percentage at the tech school. And the next contract, it's going to 3.79%. The difference is about an increase of $4,788.
Okay, anyone else, any questions or concerns there? If not, Jen, would you do a roll call?
Mr. Cullen,
Yes.
Mr. DeMarcus,
Yes.
Ms. Paglione, Mr. Poliafico,
Yes.
Mr. Parolo,
Yes.
Mr. Poplawski,
Yes.
Mr. Rusin,
Yes.
Mr. Chicoletti,
Yes.
and Mr. D'Angelo.
Yes.
Okay, motion is passed.
Okay, item 7 under personnel, item A.
Mr. Chairman, approve to appoint the following supplemental winter sports positions. Supplemental rate as per master agreement effective 2020-2021 school year. Jerry Devine, boys basketball. Anthony Generali, JV, boys basketball. Rocco Parolo, middle school boys basketball. Jim Petrino, girls varsity basketball. Joe Malone, JV girls basketball. Michelangelo, middle school girls basketball. Pete DeLuca, varsity bowling. Scott Brown, varsity wrestling. James Denny, assistant varsity wrestling. John Sabatini, middle school wrestling. Karina Haywood, varsity cheerleading, adjusted.
Okay, the motion made by Mr. Chicoletti. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cullen. Are there any questions or concerns from the rest of the board?
Yeah, I have a question. What's the adjusted portion on the varsity cheerleading? What's that mean?
Someone previously was doing varsity cheerleading for the fall, and now somebody different is doing it for the spring. So the percentage of it is broken out.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why it's adjusted.
Okay, that's all. I'm good.
Okay, Jen? you wanna
Okay.
take it?
Yep. Mr. Cullen,
Yes.
Mr. DeMarcus,
Yes.
Ms. Paglione, Mr. Poliafico,
Yes.
and Mr. Parolo, you'll abstain.
Yes.
Mr. Poplawski,
Yes.
Mr. Rusin,
Yes.
Mr. Chicoletti,
Yes.
and Mr. D'Angelo.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
Okay, let's circle back to public participation. Is there anyone that in the public that has thought of a question or would like to add or has any concerns about what we just announced today? Please state your name. Okay, I'm going to take that as a no. And we're going to move on to information and discussion. Okay, 2 things and a small change from the agenda. We are going to meet on Thursday, December 3rd, to review data and to make a decision on what we're going to do going forward, to come back to the hybrid or to stay virtual. So on Thursday, December 3rd, the board will conduct a Zoom meeting and the public will be notified. We also are going to possibly reorganize on that night. So if it's possible, we will do that. And that's really just us doing our hierarchy and the president and the vice president. So does anyone on the board would like to comment or make a statement regarding the reorg meeting and the Thursday, December 3rd?
John, does that mean that the December 7th meeting is going to be canceled?
Well, I'm thinking that what I heard Mr. Trulove say is if we can do them both on the third, that's fine.
You can.
If we can't, if
You
we
can,
can't, we would
the
have to.
organization of the school code is just, the requirement is to be done the first week of December. So it's unlike municipalities, which have to do it the first a Monday in January, it's always a Monday. School districts can do it the first week. So, and your Thursday is your regular meeting night. That's the night it falls on. You can conduct business at a reorganization meeting. That's not unusual. You don't have to, but if you have, since it's convenient, you can do it that night. It makes sense. Anyway, if you want to do it that night, you can take care of all that at one time.
So will you have to reorganize first before the meeting or have the meeting then reorganize?
You could either way. I mean, normally folks reorganize first and then they do the business. You would put on your agenda either specific items and any other business to come before the board. I would think, other than what we're talking about tonight, there probably isn't a whole lot, but who knows? It depends on what happens between now and then. There are a lot of things are changing rapidly, but it wouldn't seem to me to be take too long. You're going to have your data and make a decision that night, one way or the other, I would think, by that time. So it's entirely up to you. Typical lawyer answer. I can see both sides,
Okay, and so, who knows? Like you said, Mr. Trulove, we're going to have more information, hopefully positive news, and we'll structure the agenda as necessary. I don't think whether we reorganize or not is going to change what we're going to vote on as far as coming back to school or extending the virtual instruction for another couple weeks. Let's hope and pray that things slow down.
Right. Great.
Okay. With that, I'd like to go around the horn to each board member. If you have anything, Mr. Collin.
No, I'm good at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Collin.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just want to say one thing. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I think it's a great idea that we're taking this precaution to shut down for these a couple of weeks. I think it was a fantastic idea to do this. I think it's the best for our staff and the children involved. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. DeMarcus.
Nothing for me tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeMarcus. Always a pleasure. Ms. Paglione. Mary Jane? Mary Jane?
John, I don't think you've been on all meeting.
No, she's there. She's muted.
Yeah, she needs to unmute.
Mary Jane, please unmute. Hi, Mary Jane. Do you have anything, any questions, anything you'd like to discuss?
Yes, I'd just like to commend and thank Dr. Minetti and her entire staff for the excellent job they are all doing during this pandemic. I know it's difficult, and we all have to make difficult decisions, but I think we're going on the right path and we're making the right decisions. So I just want to say thank you again.
All right, I concur. Thank you, Mary Jane. Mr. Paliafka.
Yeah, I just want to thank the Dr. Minetti and everybody else doing, everything they can to keep everyone safe and moving forward. Dr. Minetti, please pass on my thanks to the staff, all the way, the custodians and housekeepers and all that stuff there, and the cafeteria workers. Thanks again, and stay safe.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Paliafka. Mr. Parola. Mr. Parolo. I'll take that as a no. Al? Like anything to say, Al? Looks like you might have called. What? Al?
I don't
Looks
see
like
him
he's,
on there.
yeah, he fell off. Okay. Okay, Mr. Popolowski.
I just wanted to thank everybody that's doing the after-school programs. So I have 3 kids that are involved in it, at least 2 days a week. One's involved with it all 4 of the days that it's offered. I'm involved at my school and I lead a lot of extracurriculars, and it's invaluable, especially during this virtual and hybrid model for these kids that have other interactions besides for the academics. So I just want to definitely thank everybody. I don't want to say names because I know there's a ton of people that I would miss, but that entire staff is doing an amazing job.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much. Mr. Rusin.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for supporting the Bucks County Tech School with the Articles of Agreement and getting that passed. It's very important for us. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Rusin. Mr. Chicoletti.
Yes, I have a few things here. The health and safety plan that the board approved back in June. In that plan, we have a 90-day review. So next week, the pandemic committee will be meeting, all of us, to sit down and go over the assessment that was taken about a week ago. That report should be available to the board either tomorrow or Monday. So we'll go over that at the pandemic committee meeting. Also, what we are finding out, and I want to thank the parents for their support and knowing that in the event that a child is exposed or the parent is exposed to the COVID, that they are calling to school, because we're seeing a lag between the time that we're getting notified from the Bucks County Department of Health. So, once again, to the parents, please, if your child or yourself or somebody in your family does test positive, refer to our guidelines on the website and notify the school district so that we could put our plan into action. Okay, so hopefully, we don't have to. And with the cases rising, the Bucks County Board of Health is inundated with work. So we can't afford to get notified 3, 4, 5 days after someone tests positive. So I'm asking for all the parents, staff, anybody that has children in the district, as well as families, if somebody tests positive, to please follow our protocols. It is working in our district. Our district is safe, and let's try and keep it that way, but we need your help. That's it.
John, you're muted.
Thank you, Mr. Chicoletti. I just want to update everyone on 2 things. As far as our bond, that has been going pretty smoothly. We were getting bids on the insurance, and Chris has been handling everything. And I want to thank the team from Hill Wallach who filled in very well. And just so you know, had we waited and done this deal this week, it would be worth about a $930,000 savings to the district, as opposed by doing it last week, a $980,000. So by acting decisively and with the help of the people at Hill Wallach and Chris McHugh, that stuff went through real quickly, and it looks like it's just going to get worse. So we can be proud that we cut this deal and we did it right and we maxed out. So that's really good news. The only other thing I wanted to talk to you, and Dave, I'm just going to go lightly. You might want to, Mr. Chicoletti, chime in. We met with Mr. Di Giuseppe and Mr. Dillon regarding, the recreation in the borough. And it was really just a general discussion. you know, what we agreed on basically. And remember, anything that comes from the borough through recreation, is really from them. And certainly, we have always make any of our facilities available, whether they be uh, gyms, the LGI rooms, our play area outside, similar to what we do with the AOC. And you know what? Basically, after talking with Dr. Minetti and Chris, the thing that I would feel that would help us would if we could get lights over at the baseball field, which could help our kids and our junior high and our JV and our varsity baseball team um, play at night, have some more practice time. Now, it's just in the early stages because we do have bids on that we did several years ago, but the cost is pretty prohibitive and it's still above $200,000. So my question is you know, there are other things, and each one of you, I would ask between now and when we meet again, because look, it's right now, it's not a high priority. We've got to get this COVID. We've got to run our school district. That's number one. And so there's really nothing that we can do, but I would ask each of you to reach out to people that you know that are interested. So then we could come in and put on the table what need aren't we meeting? So, you know, I just made some notes. We have the youth basketball, we have youth football. The soccer programs were run by St. Mark's. They closed down. But there is opportunities for kids in Borough to play travel soccer. The Little League, that's run by the Borough. That's run on their field. Some ideas were to kind of do like a recreation complex where we could open up the track and maybe put some lights in the back so that people could walk on the track at night, and primarily not kids. It's just adult recreation. The people that work second shift and want to go out for a nice walk. Right now it's 5 o'clock. It's dark and you can't see anything. So that's one of the things that we're kind of bouncing around. And you know, the only other thing that I could think of is that, and I remember years ago when my dad ran the recreation, there were stations at Warren Snyder and at Grundy's and at the high school, and you know, it was like a camp. Kids would show up at 9 o'clock and stay till 3. They could play basketball, ping pong, wiffle ball, pinky ball. You could do. They used to throw quoits, horseshoes. There was other types of recreation that isn't more kind of like arts and craft type things. They used to make pot holders. They used to use lace. One of the other things that they would do is they would go to Connie Mack Stadium for a Phillies game. They would go to the Philadelphia Zoo for like a trip of anybody who wanted to go. And you know, if you had 3 bus loads, you would fill them up. So I'm just saying this, that we you know, we need to start thinking, but the question is, well, what is the need that we're missing? Because you know, if you say I want to do this or that, and only a couple kids come out, well then, you know, so we really need to kind of get our hands around what's the demand of our kids and our citizens.
John, I also think something we need to look at is like esports.
Listen, where is Brianna Taylor is here? I think, I mean, Brianna Curran. Brianna, would you like to jump in here and because I know you've been doing that. Go ahead, Brianna. Unmute.
Thank you, John. So we did have a very successful Fortnite tournament that we had at the school 2 years ago. And we're contemplating bringing that back in some fashion, how we can do that virtually with the kids. But it was, I think it was about 60 students participated, and from 6th through 12th grade. And they broke up into teams of 4s, but the teens actually handled the tournament. They created the brackets. They brought in the televisions and the systems. They helped negotiate with local businesses or talk to local businesses to get donations for food and refreshments. So they really are interested in playing video games more so than going out. And given COVID, I think that might be something worth looking into if this, whether we organize, say, another tournament and put it virtually and promote it within the school district and figure that out, the details with the kids again. Because my concern, just like all of yours, is bringing the kids in contact. And as cases increase, I don't feel comfortable doing, the Teen Foundation doesn't feel comfortable doing anything in person right now. So I can definitely look into possibly another
Brianna, can you reach out to me tomorrow via email, or I can give you my cell phone number also?
Yeah, Mike.
My high school is actually in a league right now that we just started this year. It's
Oh, that's
a
awesome.
national league where you can earn scholarships and everything.
Oh my God, yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Mike, I also have, and Brianna, I have information from Mike Lally about esports and bringing that to our district. What we're looking at is just, do we have the computers with the capacity? Because we took the computer labs apart and gave all the computers, the desktops to the teachers to use. So we don't have computer labs right now. So, we want to ensure that if we do move in that direction, that we have computers that can handle it.
Yeah, and again, this isn't anything that's going to happen overnight. We've got major important things that we're trying to resolve. But each board member can start by asking your constituents or your parents or your, again, adult friends who, what we're talking about, these tournaments, is it seems like recreation is taking a different turn, and it's not so much the physical activity of that we're used to, but it is indeed getting together, doing something. And we always make the district facilities available to whoever really wants to use it. And if indeed you have some ideas, maybe at our December 3rd meeting, we can just put some down on a piece of paper and just take a step closer to working with the borough. But the bottom line is our district, we are under the Department of Education. We have sports that we participate in and activities that we do, but we don't really even own the baseball fields. So if we can come together and it makes sense and it will supplement what we're doing for our kids, then I don't think there's anybody on this board that's not for that. But we really need the borough to hash out, how much money they have, how many grants they can have, who they would like to actually run the programs. So, Mr. Coletti, do you have anything there to add?
No, I think you covered it all. Good job. It's just that we'll all have input in that, and then we'll take all of our data to the borough and say, this is what the school directors got from their constituents. Yep.
Yeah, so please, and like I said, I see one of my friends runs a wiffle ball tournament out in the township over at the old Clara Barton. Again, many of us grew up playing pinky ball, right? We played volleyball, ping pong. Those are all really low cost things. And what I think we're going to see is we're going to get a little bit of kids that want to do a little bit of everything. So once we make it available, then we can kind of pare it down and see, well, what's not working. And it really isn't going to cost us a lot of money. So any other board members have anything else to add?
I have a question, John. The recreation that you referred to that your dad ran, I was part of that. I went over there every day. But anyhow, was that sponsored by the borough or was that sponsored by the school district?
Absolutely. That was sponsored by the borough. And I can remember you waiting for the pinkies to show up because those things were like gold.
Oh, yeah.
But what the borough did, and remember, it was at Grundy's, the Grundy basketball courts, which aren't there anymore. It was at Warren Snyder, and it was behind the high school. And what they did is they had 2 graduating seniors that the borough said, we're going to pay you from June when school gets out through the second week of August. Every day, kids come in and start, and that's another way to gather data on what they're doing and play kickball, play. So that is something, and I really wouldn't have no problem if the borough said to us, can you help, can you pay the students, or can you do, it's like a summer job. So without really getting deep into the weeds right now, I think that's something that we really should do. And
Chick, I was
even
part of
though-
it the last time it was run. It was I was under Cindy Wade for a while, and then Mercedes took it over. So like I was kind of like student teaching at some point, and I was working at Crystal Fuel, but I would come and run their field days. But it also gives responsibility to like a lot of high school juniors, seniors, early education majors to work there. You know, they're not making a ton of money, but they definitely got paid decent, and they each had their own field. So like, you know, some were outside, some were doing arts and crafts. So it definitely needs to be coming back to the borough. I mean, I have kids, and that's definitely something I want to see.
It's not something that we can do now, but I was always in favor of opening up our gym for open nights.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
John, I was a counselor there when I was in college for 3 years, and it was an absolutely great program.
Yeah, and you know, Mary Jane, I remember going over there and they would make pot holders, right? They had, I remember that was another big thing.
We made baskets too.
Every Thursday, my father would go to the arts and crafts and get a big roll of lace. And when he pulled up, those kids were running in and they would make little lace keychains. So my point is, it's something that we could do. It kind of can involve much of our community. A joint effort by the borough and the school district. And like Pop said, now you're going to get kids that are seniors that might think about wanting to be a teacher or wanting to be a gym teacher or whatever. And the other thing is, it's not real expensive, and it really allows us to kind of craft it. The only thing that we have to do is, what do the kids want to do? They may not want.
I think the biggest thing is we got to collaborate well. Like, I'm not going to use names or programs specifically, but the borough's got like 47 different things going on, generally the same thing. And you just like, and I'm not going to judge or rate any one over another, but it's like, you know, you're shortening the pot of students and kids that can do stuff, because you have to strategically plan things, you know, and just move forward. Like, you can't have 6 sports going on during the same time frame and expect to field teams or activities, you know. And I'm going to use an example. I happen to run a middle school charter league, and last year by this date we had 1,500 kids in 20 charter schools involved in athletics.
I've always been in favor of the open nights, open gym nights, for kids to do activities with maybe a family member or just kids getting together. So I'd be happy to see something like that happen at both the elementary school and the high school games and things like that. Other than team sports, because it's not for everybody. So I'm definitely in favor of.
Yeah, I agree. Like esports, stuff like that's definitely good.
One of the things that Jeff Mano brought up was, you know, I was talking to him the other night, and it's 5 o'clock and it's dark. And there's really nothing for kids to do. So listen,
absolutely.
If we were able to get some portable lights and set them up for 2 months over at the basketball courts, or in the spring, if we really couldn't make the commitment to spend $200,000 on lights for baseball, we could get portable standards. The other thing is that Mr. Mano brought a great idea. He said, just turn the lights, put it out, and I talked to Brianna about this. Turn the lights, like, you know, maybe not tonight because it's cold, but turn the lights on the football field at 5 o'clock. Tell the kids, come and do whatever you want to do. You want to sit in the bleachers?
John, I also think if we reach out to some councilmen, there's definitely grants that, like, they know that
they have to get the grants.
They know that if we apply for it, we can get them. I also have about 6 websites that I'll send to Chris or whoever to try to investigate whether we're eligible. But the grants is the way to go. There's free money out there. You just have to have somebody tell you which one to apply for, and you know you can get it. You know, it's not a guarantee, but like you have a chance at it more likely than just like me randomly Googling a grant that like nobody knows of us, what we're about. I mean, why use portable lights when there's definitely funding and money that we can find, not from our own. There's definitely free money that you could find that, like, even just for example, using where the Wildcats practice, that happens to be another land that we can, if we have lights there, there's so much more you can do just besides Wildcats football. Same thing, like you said, the field, that big field, that 60-90 field, if that has lights, you can have double headers. I grew up on Garden Street. We used to go down at 6 and 8 on a Friday night and watch the kids when I was 8 years old that were 9, 10, and 11. And that's what we did on Friday nights. And just like Jeff said, it don't have to be just sports. Just kids having an avenue. Maybe, I don't.
Right.
It'd be nice to eventually have a skate park like Falls. I mean, that's probably more 10 years down the road. But just having a vision where everybody's on the same page together.
I would say right now, turn on the lights on the football field. And, the last week or so, it's been really nice out, turn them on. But we could get some kind of an engineer or somebody to come out and take a look at the light standards that we have right now. John may even be able to give us some input, and the practice field where the young kids practice under Chris Stratman and our football team practices. We may be able to put some decent light. We might be able to put some lights on our poles already. It doesn't have to be a game condition lights, but just enough to light it up out there. So we might be able to use the same poles.
I agree. And these are the things we got to explore. Now, the only other thing is, and I know it's getting late, but so the 21st Century Grant, they do a lot with those kids in the summer, but they're a certain age group of kids, right? It's the younger kids. So they do take them to the Trenton Thunder, and they do have these kind of quasi-recreational activities, and they do it based on the demand for that need. And if all the kids sign up, they want to take them out. So as we all kind of brainstorm it together, let's try to find what is the unmet need. What do kids want to do? And my only concern is that, I've seen proposals to put this here or put these, but you really need to have a demand before you start spending millions of dollars for this or for that. And we need to look at it like, where can we put, if we want to make a major commitment, where in the borough is the right place? Again, we have the field along Buckley Street that kids could play soccer over there. You just really need a cyclone fence, or you really don't even need. You can set up a silk fence.
And Chick, I think also too, like, look at like Levittown Continental's complex. Not saying like I'm just using their specific field. They have a special needs field that like could be something that's a multi-purpose field in addition to being special needs that they use for some of the Special Olympics for like t-ball and some form of baseball. Like, we just got to start thinking outside the box, just besides for the traditional stuff, because we do have.
It all comes down to the borough, which we all know is grants come more easily to them. It's harder for school districts to get grants, and then go from there. Come up with a plan, and whether lighting is needed or whatever, that's another story. But I'm all for opening up our gyms for let kids hanging out and play some simple little games in there, as long as there's no damage done, and turn the lights on for the football field. I got no problems with none of that.
The only thing is, though, we just got done kind of talking about the fact that we Dr. Wilkinson, thank you for reminding that right now that might be something that we think about doing, but I think that's kind of off the board until we see the extent of how the COVID is accelerating. So, but my point is,
absolutely,
listen, I don't think it would take very much to put something together. And Pop, you said one thing too. When I was the basketball coach, I ran the youth basket, right? So in other words, during the season, their kids were there on we let them practice maybe on a Friday when nobody was in the gym. On Saturday and Sunday, they were the games. We did that maybe through the month of December and 2 weeks into January. And so I think from the school district point of view, we can get, and we need to get the head coaches more involved in kind of running that programs, right? Because really it benefits them in the long run. So that's one of the things that I hope to discuss with Mr. Lally, about, let's look at all our head coaches and let's
John,
see.
when I coached the Barrow before I went to Mastery, I coached the varsity girls here, and that's what we did. We ran the Saturday league, and then we had girls officiating. Then we had girls coaching the youth. So you get a different perspective as a student athlete also of the other aspects of, like, hey, an official's going to miss a call. As a coach, the kids don't. And then realistically, long term, there could be a non-athlete that wants to be an official, and that's where they learn. And guess what? You can make 15, 20 grand as a 19, 20-year-old if you do 2 or 3 sports throughout the year. And guess what? Most of it's under the table.
Listen, the PIAA is looking for referees in
And that
baseball,
was funny, huh?
football. I don't know if you've ever seen some of these guys that come do the football games. I mean, some of them.
They're older than you and Steve.
You see him, the one guy, man, he's got to weigh 400 pounds. I mean, how's he even running up and down the field? My point is, you bring up a great point. There's other ways to get involved, and those are the kind of things that we really need to kind of explore. So I don't want to take any more time, but please bring a pad with you. Make a note. Talk to your neighbors. See what they're.
And tell my buddy to wave hi to me.
All right. But anyway, so with that being said, again, reminder. Go ahead. Anybody else have anything, Jeff?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So the reminder is we will see everybody on Thursday, December 3rd for reorganization and our meeting. And hopefully, listen, we're all hoping and praying that we've got good news. And let's hope that that this pandemic kind of slows down. And with that, could I get a?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chulop,
What's that?
you have anything to add?
Oh, well, the only thing I would add, since you're asking me, is, and I don't want to take up much time, but I want to echo what everybody said about the administration and all the hard work and what the staff are doing, but also to the board members yourselves. I mean, you're volunteers and you spend a lot of time, especially in a very difficult year, very difficult time, making challenging decisions. And I applaud all of you for your dedication to the district, the students, the families, and the staff here. And I also want to thank my colleagues at Hill Wallach who covered for me last meeting, Georgianne Fusco, who did a great job with the financial, and Ben Hauser. That's why we have a team at our firm that really can step up when need be. And finally, happy and healthy Thanksgiving to everybody and your families, and hope we all gather on the 3rd. And like you said, we have good news. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave, and same to you.
All right, thank you. So now,
Thank
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
if there's anything, can we get a motion for adjournment?
A motion adjourned.
Mr. Poliafico, motion second.
Second.
Second by everybody, and so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Be safe, everyone.
Everybody.